Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 164. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I am one of your geeks in arms with my good friend, the Canardian Mark Carabin. My goodness, Mark, since we last talked, things have happened. I turned 50. Then,
yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I've turned a new leaf. My wife was attended the Minnesota Book Award. She was a finalist there. It was very exciting. One of her friends won. It was really awesome, just really exciting. My son had a big concert. My mom visited. Mark, I bought a new car out of the blue. Yeah, I bought a Mustang Mach-E, kind of crazy. It was the first 2025 they got. And because of tariffs and things, it's coming from Mexico. So it's like I got one of the few ones that hasn't tariffed. That's exciting. And then, Mark, I think the one thing you're probably going to be most excited about, even though you work for Ford, I am a member of the cult again.
Whoa. Wow, you went back. I did not think that would ever happen. For anyone listening instead of watching, Todd just held up an iPhone.
iPhone 16. Didn't go with like the Plus Pro, Mega, XL, VR, whatever. It's got it, but I did get the 256 gigabytes because I love my storage. Because the pictures, the videos, they get so big these days. But I did this mainly, Mark. Why did I do this? My phone was worth $300. That was a Pixel 7, which, you know, at that point, it's now almost 3 years old. So get while you can. And my wife wasn't getting my texts. Like literally a day later, things would show up. So I'm like, you know what?
Oh, no.
That's not going to end well. That is not going to end well. So I have the new iPhone. I got the Mustang, essentially. And I also had to pay taxes. So I'm like, what else can I spend a lot of money on? We'll see what happes.
Pre-ordered a Switch, what I've been up to. Didn't you?
Pre-ordered Switch. Yeah. Well, yeah, I pre-ordered. Well, we're going to talk about that. But I do actually have that money. I traded, you know, I sold my Xbox Series X. So I've been like squirreling things away. I've been doing a lot of like, let's sell off my old Pro controller that was a launch Pro controller that still works. And I sold it for like $35. So I'm like, that's like half of the value. So I'm like, anything like I had an extra DualSense because I got a Astrobot. So I sold that off too. So I'm just thinning out the herd. Logan has not told me if he wants to keep the Switch to use, but he's definitely not going to get my Switch too. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that, man, it's been busy. It's been crazy. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I've been plugging away. I don't know if you saw on Instagram, I'm making a Captain Canada.
I was going to say Captain Carrot. He's a great character from DC, but Captain Canada is phenomenal. Yeah. I love that.
Excited. I was doing some spray painting and stuff earlier. There's a piece way over there, but I'm not going to grab it. But yeah, I'm chipping away at that. Pre-order the Switch 2. We're going to talk about that later. So that's basically caught up. There was an election in Canada. I don't want to get into politics, but that was.
I saw one, and I think results. A lot of people will be very happy because you might avoid what's happened in our country. So
yeah, that's the general vibe.
Good news.
Yeah, that's all I'll say. Yeah. I think it's good news. Yeah.
Yeah, he stood up to Orange Julius Caesar, as I would call him.
Did he ever?
So
holy crap.
Yeah. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So I salute you people who make sound decisions. There we go. Our friends in the North, we salute you. Well, with that, Mark, we've got to get into the show. You know, I've been talking about a lot of things, but we are talking about video games. And we do this podcast thanks to some very special people.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have to thank our friends over at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite. This is the Secret Friend Squad, including the Besties tier, Derek Trevelyan, aka the Figure Dude, Francie, Xbox Expansion Pass, and Charlie's Uncle Tim. Our friends with Benefits tier, John Sador, Phoenix Sisters Entertainment, Brendan Myers. Also, thank you, Brendan. You know what that's for. Corey in HD, Matthew Keel, Kurt Krug, Tanya Lee, Chipotle Bear, Famous Seamus, who we'll talk about in 2 seconds, Cam the Movie Man, Jay Newport 007, Brian Osserman, aka Prozac Man, aka Darth Prozac, and of course, our Secret Friends Super Squad, the amazing Nias family, Sean, Stella, and Henry. We could not do any of this without you guys. You're all amazing. Absolutely. You can head over for exclusive shows, no ads, Discord benefits as little as $2 a month, and you get 50% off your first month right meow if you head over to patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. And one of the things you also get if you sign up for Patreon is a power up. We did Chipotle Bear last week. We are doing Famous Seamus right now. I'm excited for this one. Todd, what's Famous Seamus's power?
Mark, in video games, you've got certain, levels you go through. Fire levels, desert levels. But you know what? What's annoying about water levels, Mark?
Everything.
Sure. But one of my least favorite things, and if you remember what happened to Sonic, when you start hearing that dun 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 dun,
yeah,
air, finding a bubble of water or of air under the water, just make it in time and you die. You know what I'm going to do? Since you two both live on a large body of water, or around a large body of water lives around you, I'm giving Famous Seamus the ability to always breathe underwater. I don't know if he wants to have a career in scuba or a career in diving. I know there's probably a lot of wreckage around you, maybe some buried treasure, in a vessel, maybe a Spanish galleon. That's what he's going to have. So he has that in real life. So, he doesn't have to worry about, running out of air and dying, which is a good thing. Not dying is a good thing, but also in video games. That air never runs out. The air meter always on 1%.
That is fantastic. That's a very useful IRL one for here. That's pretty fantastic. So is that IRL and in game?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, it's kind of that. I mean, I don't know how he's going to get it, but that's what he gets, and
that's great.
I'll pray to the video game gods.
For me, a lot of times I see Famous Seamus. It's at a local con. And I'm telling you, that guy gets some swag. I've never seen him at a con without stuff, bags full of stuff. So IRL and in video games, unlimited inventory space for Famous Seamus. He's
never encumbered.
He's got never encumbered. He's got pockets for days. He can just pick up the swag, fire in the pocket, fire in the backpack, whatever he has. He's never got to carry around 6 bags. And I've seen him with like 2 hands with multiple bags. Like, hey, I'd love to take a picture, but I'm not an octopus. And so I want him just to be able to like, hey, you need a master sword? Cool. Fire in your back pocket. You have 17 posters? Cool. Back pocket. Unlimited inventory and discrete inventory. He's not having like a, giant Katamari Damacy ball of swag or something. I'm talking like discrete. He just looks like Famous.
He's got the TARDIS, right? It's bigger inside. It's bigger on the inside of the bag. Yeah.
That's it.
Love that.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that is both IRL and in games unlimited inventory.
Imagine that you live in a house and you just put everything in the bag. It's like
that's it. That's all
the space in the world.
We need to free up some space. Cool. Shove it in the bag.
And it just fits. Yeah. It just fits. Like
Perfect.
It can be the size of like a car, and it just fits. It's like Kirby, like mouthful mode, right? It just
No,
it goes around it.
No Tetrising with things. No, you don't gotta move things like Resident Evil. You had to do that. There's like your inventory.
Oh, it's Tetris. Yeah, it's Tetris.
Like weird, like L-shaped blocks and stuff. It's like, none of that.
It's like Sophie's Choice. It's like, what do I get rid of? I mean, I have to use something. And you shoot one bullet just because then that clip you can load it. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Thanks.
So that's the power up.
I love it. And just remember, folks, if you would like your own power up and you're listening to this on the free feed, or you're on a trial and you want to get this, I would say this is the best, thing in the world, because you can say officially to people that you have a power up. So there you go.
Yeah. I like that ours kind of combines too, because he could go treasure hunting under the sea.
Oh yeah.
And just like shove it in the swim shorts, Just like, hey, pirate treasure.
So
pirate
everything. So you're saying anything that he has with him if it has an area to put things, it's like he's the one that generates that ability. So yeah, is that what we're saying? Like if he's got a backpack with him,
like I
the
mean,
backpack. So
you got to have outfit changes. You got to be able to, like, you know, skin swap
can't always
and upgrade your armor.
Yeah. You can't always wear like swim shorts, because that'd be bad if it was like that. Yeah, the only ability is you have the swim shorts. Yeah,
it's whatever garment of clothing he has. I don't want him to have to wear the same pair of pants every day. That's gross and weird and not seasonally effective. So whatever item of clothing or accessory that he wants to imbue with this power at any given time, that's what it is. So if it's a bag, if it's pants, shorts, whatever, he's good. Breast pocket, I think that'd be really cool. Just like, you know, pull something out of the shirt pocket.
Essentially, you know, you don't need cargo shorts anymore.
But you always need cargo shorts.
Where are you going to put your tater tots? Yeah, it's the jorts. It's the jorts of the 90s or no 2000s is cargos. Yes, where are you going to put your tots? Yeah. All right, Mark, that was a fun happening. And when you get the power up, I love to give those out. We got a couple more folks that are going to get power ups in the next couple of weeks, so be listening and get ready. Mark, it's buy rent return time. Woo. And you know, with the new system, we typically have had to leave the old games behind. It's kind of a thing of the past now. Backwards compatibility is like, and forwards compatibility is a big deal now. Basically, your library travels with you, and I think the Switch was the last one that didn't bring games with it. But now Switch 2 is. But the legacy of old systems, we're going to talk about this a little bit in regards to launch games, is there is kind of that hard set line for every system where things just got left behind. So this week I picked orphaned Nintendo games. These are games you cannot play on the Nintendo Switch, which means you can't play them on the Switch too, unless something changes. So Mark, the games I picked were Eternal Darkness on the Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Land on the Wii U, and Wii Punch-Out on the Wii.
Okay.
So, Mark, do we want to go through a little bit of rationale first? Do we want to go through the people in our socials? Yes.
I have a question. So,
yes.
Are we are bringing these games forward so there is a Switch 2 version?
Yes, these are the one you buy is the one that you will get game? That will get now a new life on a new system.
It's not the franchise. It's not a new entry in this. It's not like Eternal Darkness 2 is coming for Switch 2. It's straight up Eternal Darkness is on Switch 2. Nintendo Land is on Switch 2. Punch-Out.
Maybe it's the deluxe version. Maybe it's the deluxe version or something where they prettied it up or gave it extra frames.
Oh yeah, no,
I don't know. Maybe
it's the core game experience.
Exactly. You get that game. And then I will say this. Mm-hmm. I understand that Wii Punch-Out you could play it on the Wii U, but let's just say anything on after the Wii, because the Wii U games are not compatible. So basically the Wii is
and all six of us that own the Wii U, we're happy with that, but the rest of them, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are our rules, and basically a rent would say maybe that's where it's on. Maybe it's like the Mario 365 or 635, where it like was there for like a week and then it goes away. You never get to play it again, which is just sad. I don't know.
3D All Stars. Okay. All right. I'm picking up what you're throwing down. Okay. Do you want to go through some of the because I got to think about this. Let's go through some of the write-ins.
Yeah, as we go through this, we'll probably say some things about these games along the way. So, Brandon from Save the Game Boy over on Save the Game Media says, "Kiss, Marry, Kill." So I assume what they're saying is rent Eternal Darkness.
Yep.
Buy Nintendo Land and kill Wii Punch-Out. It's Mary Boff Kill, whatever you call it. But he says, "Kiss, Marry, Kill." Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think that makes sense. Okay.
Interesting.
We've got Nerd Chat. I'll start off with Eric in Nerd Chat. Buy Eternal Darkness, rent Nintendo Land, and return Punch-Out. NX Bacon Gaming said samesies.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah. I kind of expect a little more love for Punch-Out, to be honest.
See,
that's a fun game. That was a fun game. Motion control's maybe not my favorite part, but I do think it looked great, and it was just a fun imagining. Punch Out is always kind of a shorter experience, though, so I totally get that. I think I played a little bit of it, and the motion controls were not for me. But I liked the update to it. It was kind of fun. And remember when they brought out that little, was it like a game you could get from the old Nintendo Rewards program, which was you got Doc. Doc was the character or something in a game?
Yep.
Like
There
your
was
trainer?
Doc,
I forgot what that was.
Doc's training something. I can't remember. Punch Out, Doc. Yeah, I can't. Doc Lewis's Punch Out. WiiWare. That was it.
WiiWare. Yeah, all those WiiWare games abandoned. That's crazy. Yeah, you could play as Doc. Yeah, that's crazy. I loved it. And then, and that's gone. That you can't access that either, folks. Sorry. It was on the Nintendo reward system where it's like they had all this cool physical rewards and everything that just went away because you got your little, remember you get your little code in your box, Mark? I'd go to GameStop. I'd take pictures of those codes. Grand larceny. Be like, at the end of the year, Donna, how did you get 100 billion points? I don't know.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that you did that. That is that's fantastic.
Pay no attention to the man taking pictures with his phone with all these codes. I'm like, you know what? Somebody bought those and then they traded them in. If they didn't use them, it's fair game at that point, right?
Fair game. Yeah, fair game. Yeah. And if they don't want to lock them up or do anything with them, 100% fair game. Do your thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's go to SFU really quick. Man, Daddy Juwali says, is this a joke? Buy Eternal Darkness, sell the rest. He's like, throw him in the garbage.
He doesn't mess around, man. I love it.
Rawl Giver says, no kidding. So, man, all these other games are just not getting much love. And then Chipotle Bear, the voice of reason, says, Punch Out for the nostalgia.
So that means,
Mark,
I think that means he's also buying Eternal Darkness.
From Darkness.
He's throwing out a rent Punch Out for the nostalgia and still return, not even part of the conversation, Nintendo Land. Stuff.
I will say there's probably one reason why Punch Out will not return, and I've heard rumblings about this, is because of all the racist stereotypes of those characters. just not fitting. Like Soda Popinski, it's a drunk Russian, or it's this guy. All the characters are a little unsavory.
I get that. I get that those characters specifically maybe not the best. However, who's to say you can't do Punch Out without a new character roster? Like why do you have to have the exact same characters that were out for NES 40 friggin' years ago? Like do Punch Out and have Little Mac training Littler Mac or
Next
something.
Generation.
Right? And just
Cobra Kai.
Have a whole Cobra Kai it. Have a whole new roster of boxers. Maybe if you could get a couple of of the least racist stereotypical
racist
one, maybe
it's the least you can do is not make them racist.
one's
Joe is like the least offensive, right?
Right. Maybe so have a couple of them show up either as trainers as well, or maybe their kids are boxing, or they're still somehow holding on. How's this guy still boxing? How's he still this fast when he's this old? Like you could even build a narrative around that kind of stuff and have a Punch Out Cobra Kai Next Generation kind of thing, and get rid of some of those problems. So I understand that as a don't remake the game kind of excuse, but continue the franchise. There's ways to update some stuff. That one I'm not buying that excuse for.
How about we call it
full stop.
Jake Paul's Punch Out? Jake Paul's Punch Out? Is that good enough? Because he's not controversial at all.
I'm a fight. That's
maybe it's a fitness game, right? They have those boxing games or fitness. Maybe that's what they do. They make it a fitness game this time. And Oh, Mac. Mac comes out of retirement like Rocky, right? He has to come up. He's all fat and he's not in good shape. It's a fitness game. And then he's taken on the kids of all of the old boxers. So those are the new school. It's kind of like Creed.
Creed mixed with Cobra Kai. Can you can't go wrong with this. This is
so we've remade this game, Nintendo. Take it to the bank. But Mark, we need to pick. You need to pick.
Yep.
Can
Can I
go
ask
first?
one more qualifying question for this?
Yes.
How does Nintendo Land work in this scenario? Because that was a heavy Wii U game. As far as like you're doing something on the tablet that's translated, like flicking things or doing something. It was a very asynchronous kind of like that experience showed off what you could do on a tablet with other things watching the screen. How's that one balance out?
Got a solution. A solution, Mark. So I just saw it now that, we've got the camera for Switch 2. There is actually, we saw the one that's going to be like the Piranha Plant camera, which is actually a 40p camera, which I don't understand why. 480p. Yeah. Why are they doing
hate that?
So dumb. They are making another camera, Mark, but it's actually, you can put it on the Switch 2. Like it can connect on that top USB port and it's portable, like it's smaller. Right. So what I'm going to say is it's going to be AR. So that is going to have it come in and it's going to use the real world and it's going to be like that. I don't know. Oh, that actually doesn't work either. Does it? Crap. I got to figure it out. I don't know. maybe they lied, Mark. Maybe they lied. Okay. And that chat button is also a cast button and it's truly a 2-screen experience. That's the only way I can think it works.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. Or you know what, Mark? How they do it? You need two Switch 2s.
Switch 2s.
And then you got to carry them, or it's got it's basically just a dock on the top. It's going to be like USB-C to USB-C to USB. It's going to be like the Genesis, with all the power tower, but it's going to be switches. And yes,
I will mention that I know at least the Piranha Plant camera can detach from that big base and plug into that USB-C port on top of the Switch 2.
That's what they must be doing.
Work.
Okay. Got it.
It does work that way. It comes off at the stem. So you leave the pod and it comes off of the stem and works exactly the way you just described. So
with beautiful 480p.
And 480p. That was the one I was going to get.
When was the last time you saw a 480p camera?
Why would that be a thing?
Are those leftover Game Boy cameras?
Gotta be. Okay. I've delayed this far too long.
Yes, we have. Yes. I don't know how it works, Mark. Somebody will make it happen. Yeah.
I was going to pick Nintendo Land, but I think because just because it's such a weird novel experience, and I really think we will see Eternal Darkness on the Switch 2 anyway. So I don't feel bad renting that. Yeah. I don't feel bad renting that, thinking that it's eventually going to come to NSO, but the problems with playing Nintendo Land is it's like emulating 3DS games on like, an Anbernic device or something like that. They have one screen. It's tough to do.
I have a solution, Mark.
All right, let's go.
So the Switch 2 is docked, but the Switch 1 is now the controller with the screen. How about that? Because everybody has a Switch 1 lying around, right? Of course, now it's like, so you're saying I got to own a Switch 1, the most expensive game to play ever. You need two systems. It's like the Game Boy. What was the one Link game with the Link cables? And,
yeah, that's it. Yeah. I like that we both just went to the same place. I'm going to buy Eternal Darkness specifically because Nintendo Land, I think, would be a tough port given without an insane expense. I am going to rent Nintendo Land though, because that had some really, really cool experiences. Finn, I plugged in my Wii U so Finn could experience those games because he was so obsessed with Pikmin. There's some great Pikmin mini games there. It is a cool experience that I think a lot of people skipped over, missed completely, or ignored. Sadly, I do have a lot of love for Punch-Out, but not the Wii version. I didn't really play that one too much. I think I might have rented it or borrowed it from someone or something, but it's not a game I owned. So the nostalgia's not creeping up. I'm returning that one. But I think the franchise, I just gave a pitch for why the franchise should continue, and I really think it should. Out of the three of these, I think Punch-Out has the best chance of returning. and continuing as a franchise, which is also kind of why I'm not too scared to return it, because I'd rather punch out 3, 4. What would it be at this point? 4?
There was the
Whatever.
original, the SNES. The third. This would be the fourth. Yeah.
So 4th. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So I would rather that than this port, which is why I don't feel too bad returning this. So I'm going to lock in those answers, and I'm very curious to see what you're feeling.
I'm going to duplicate yours because I truly do feel like I'm going to return We Punch Out, because I think if Punch Out returns, there's a way to use that license but make it a new experience. And the way I think they could do it is basically to say, you know what? We tried ARMS. Yeah. Now we're going to just call it Punch Out ARMS or something like that. It's got the Lilith's original boxer. You bring in those characters, but maybe you tighten up everything, and maybe Little Max got like it's like what was it? The Jax from Mortal Kombat, where he's just got metal arms. He's got like know the cyber arms. Yeah. Maybe like that. Why not? So I think that's maybe what you do is basically we needed a hero. We had to make him stronger, like the Bionic Mac. Let's call him Bionic Mac at this point. Yeah. So I think that's, if it comes back, I think it needs to be a new take on Punch Out, and just, use arms, bring him in and make him the star of the game, and make those the wild characters that he has to take down because they killed Doc Lewis. I don't know. He's getting I don't know. I'm adding a storyline. Yeah, exactly. Right. Let's see. Nintendo Land, to your point, I thought was a very cool way to show off the abilities of the system. I believe it was a pack-in game, which is probably the last pack-in game. I believe it was at launch. So it was maybe the last pack-in game Nintendo ever did, which is pretty cool that it actually came out because they had Wii Sports and then that game. And then I just don't know what you do. I don't know how you do it, but I think if Nintendo says we're going to offer this as maybe like a weird like NSO special, like Mario 35 or something like that, and you can use the Switch if you own a Switch, and it's just for those people.
I also think there's a few games in this that you could rip out and just play on a TV.
Yeah, or maybe you just use motion controls, like the Link one.
Yeah, if it's kind of Nintendo Land, but it's bits and pieces, because I think some just straight up wouldn't work, but I think others like minor tweaks, and you're playing.
I think so,
right? Like I think it could still work.
I think so too, and because I think there's a social element we haven't seen yet with the Switch 2. Maybe this is how you do it. Like you bring back your characters, you bring back, I don't know, there's some ways they could really have fun with this concept. I hope it happens. But Eternal Darkness, Mark, I so wanted to believe that this is just going to be like, we heard Todd, we're shutting him up, we are bringing this title to NSO. It's going to look prettier, it's going to have better frame rate, we'll fix some of the jank, and that's it. Because we're not going to make a sequel. We're not going to bring back Dennis Dyack and his twin snake fun. We're not, I think that's what's going to happen. So I'm hoping it does, because the GameCube has, it doesn't have a deep library, but it's got some great games. So you know what? It's one of your Nintendo. Tell us to shut up, or tell me to shut up, and get it out there. So I'm hoping. And maybe if it finds an audience, maybe they say, hey, Dennis Dyack, people want your game, make 2 for us. We'll pay you $5 and you can shut up. So that's what I
got. Who owns the rights for Eternal Darkness? Is it still
Nintendo? It's Nintendo. Dennis Dyack. Okay. Yeah, Dennis Dyack wanted to buy the rights back. They wouldn't sell them to him because he's a crazy man. He tried to make a spiritual successor. Yeah. And that went to Kickstarter and it failed. He tried it 3 times and it failed every time because the guy is just poison. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So there's really no, I guess getting away from his name, but aside from that, they own the IP.
It's an acclaimed game.
Yeah. Yeah. NSO. Come on.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our buy rent return this week, folks. If you have a suggestion for buy rent return, let me know, because I am running out of ideas. Because I've looked, Mark, I was going oh, let's do remakes. Let's do remasters. Oh, we already did it. It's like Simpsons did it.
Yep.
I'm glad I documented this because I would do it Todd, we already did that. So, but that's okay. If you've got one in mind, let us know. I'll put it out there early So we got basically after this comes out, I'll say, what do you want for the next one? So we'll let our Patreons vote on that if that's the best way to get them involved, and we'll see, or make them pick. And we'll go from there. So Mark, it's been kind of crazy. I've been crazy. I've not been playing a lot. What have you been playing? Because I know you were also not playing a lot before because you were in Disney and you did all those fun things. So have you been playing anything new?
No, not really. I downloaded Oblivion and have not even had a chance to start it up. Same thing with Claire Obscuria.
Just call it Expedition 33.
Thank you.
Yep.
Both downloaded, ready to go on my Xbox. Have not. I've been either when I have free time, I've been sanding and spray painting and printing things and doing stuff for a con that's coming up, like a Comic-Con kind of thing that's coming up in May that I really want to have the suit ready for. And I've been playing a lot of stuff that Finn wants to play, which lately has been Hyrule Warriors. He's weirdly into the Hyrule Warriors games. So
that makes sense, Mark. That's like power fantasy for kids.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great. And I can just go and say, here's the 2 buttons you need to press. Let's run through literally 2,000 bokoblins and call it a day. So we played through the first game. I just downloaded the second Hyrule Warriors, the Age of Calamity or whatever it's called. Tonight.
Yep.
Re-downloaded that one. I've already played both of them, so it was easy running through Hyrule Warriors with him the last week or so. And excited to get into the second one. It's also kind of amping us up for the new one that's coming out on Switch 2, which is
Age of Imprisonment, right?
Yeah. So so we as a family kind of watched a lot of the Switch 2 coverage, including a lot of the Treehouse stuff. And he saw that game and he was like, "What is this game? It looks awesome." And I was like, "Buddy, we own 2 of those games." And he's like, "Can we play those?" Like, let me get the re-download button ready to go. Yes, we can play those. Let's go. So that's how we got into those. I've also been trying to get into my VR a little bit more, and I've been completely obsessed with Star Wars Pinball in VR.
Ooh.
It is fantastic. There were 8 different tables. There is an update now that brings it up to 10 different Star Wars tables. And there are a ton of collectibles, and that's what I've been obsessed with is decorating, because it puts you in like a fan cave kind of thing and swaps out the tables, but there's different posters and statues and helmets and lightsabers and things that you can collect aside from just like the cool achievements and stuff that are like holocrons and little doodads and medals and stuff on your wall. And I just love doing that. So I have been on a trophy and reward collectible mission, very focused on like, okay, what do I want next? Mando's helmet, let's go. I can unlock Jabba the Hutt, let's do that part. So I have been completely obsessed with that one lately in VR, which is super fun to get back into that.
So the hard part about pinball, I know there's people that are hardcore like video game pinballs. So there's like 2 big pinball franchises, I believe. One is like all the licensed old school real tables. And the other one is like, these are all the tables that were never made, but with all the franchises you love, and we're going to make original tables for them. I don't know if it's crossover where there's a little bit of both on each now, or if it's still that way, but like literally with Star Wars, I think there's 1 billion tables and there's like 1 million collections, and they're not always like, if you own this, it just travels with you. So sometimes I know that was one of the things I wanted to do, was basically saying, if you own it, those tables will follow you like on whatever version, but I know that's kind of crazy. So which like what games were you actually playing? Were you playing like, was it just Star Wars VR pinball, or was it called like Star Wars Power of the Sith or something?
Called Star Wars Pinball VR. It's by Zen Studios, who make some of the best pinball games I've played. And I have this game, or like the version of it for the Switch. And it's similar boards, similar kind of like achievements and stuff, and you pick light side and dark side, and you have different powers. But obviously in that, you don't have a virtual man cave, fan cave kind of thing that you can decorate. So I find pinball for me on console is a very kind of like light experience of like, I'm going to go in for 5 minutes. I'm going to play a little bit of pinball. I'm going to bounce out and not think about it again for another little while. For this one, when I first got it, I treated it much the same way. It was neat that it was like, hey, I'm in the, a virtual environment, and I got this back on the Quest too. It's like, hey, I'm in a virtual environment. I can walk up to my pinball table or like, teleport over to my pinball table, whichever one you choose to do. The controls are pretty good. Left and right bumpers control the things. But yeah, now I don't know what made me go back to it. Maybe Star Wars Day coming up or whatever it was, but like,
Sure.
yeah, I'm just super obsessed with unlocking things for my little room and my area. So I've been like redecorating with posters and getting more music tracks for the R2D2 themed jukebox. It's been fun to jump in there and just have my own little cave that I'm setting up my own way. But yeah, these tables have been tables that we've seen before. I don't know
Okay.
if any of them go to real life tables or anything like that. But
Okay,
yeah,
so
they
this
are
is I
similar
just pulled it up on Meta. So it includes The Mandalorian, Episode 4, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, a Rogue One, Star Wars story, Star Wars Rebels, Master of the Force, and classic collectibles. So it's like you can get it for like $8 right now on Meta, which is great. It's normally 25. So, and then it's got a lot of other unique features and 360 degree mini games and total immersion mode, fan cave mode, like you said. Very cool. I like that. It's pretty awesome. And then they they added a new VR table called Droids Play Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so there's the whole new there's a Han Solo and Droids are the two newer tables, I believe.
Nice.
So yeah, it's really great. It's out for Quest, it's out for Steam, it's out for PlayStation VR. So whatever VR you have, you can play this. And for me, I love pinball. I don't talk about that a lot. When I go to an arcade,
we have
I'm
a
looking for the
pinball bar
machine.
near me, Mark. It's called well, let's call Tilt. They had to change the name. They got sued, so I think it's called Lit Pinball Bar now. Yeah.
Okay. I had like a tiny tabletop pinball game as a kid that I completely wore out. Like I freaking love pinball. So like get me a good pinball and I sometimes will dive into it like I'm diving into this one.
Yep.
So when I'm not doing that, I've been finishing up this season of Fortnite. We're not going to talk about this in the news or bonus round or anything like that. So I'll mention it here right now. I'm finishing this season, getting things ready for the next season, which starts this weekend. And it's going to be a Star Wars season if you've missed the news. Right now, if you sync or link your Disney Plus and Epic Games accounts, you can get a free First Order Stormtrooper skin in the game. It's already in my locker. I was playing that before I came here to record. And they're doing a really cool event. The new Star Wars show is going to be released. The Tales of the Underworld. They're releasing the first 2 episodes. So the whole thing's going to be released May 4th. They're dropping all the episodes May 4th on Disney Plus. You're going to be able to watch the whole thing this weekend. But if you want to watch the first 2 episodes 2 days early on May 2nd, there's going to be a special Fortnite Island where you can drop in, chill out, play with lightsabers, talk and hang out with other Star Wars fans, and watch the first 2 episodes of that show starting May 2nd and running through whenever. So I can't wait. That show looks awesome. Asajj Ventress is going to be a big part of that show. They're also doing some Cad Bane episodes, which I couldn't really care less about because not one of my favorite characters. But Asajj, super interested. Can't wait for the first couple of episodes. And I will definitely be dropping in May 2nd and checking those out. And very, very excited for the new season to start as well. So we're getting Darth Jar Jar as a skin.
I saw that.
That is fantastic.
Crazy. You know what? Good on you. You know what? Embrace Jar Jar.
Yeah. Embrace. And I love that this is coming out while Andor is coming out because it's like Epic and Lucasfilm on this side of things are embracing the goofiest side of Star Wars possible. They're going with
Think so,
Wookiee
Mark?
masks in the games, Darth Jar Jar. Come on, they're just going all out with like Star Wars can be ridiculous. Let's launch a cartoon in a video game because why not? Um, there's going to be a Palpatine skin. There's going to be Grievous. It's just going to be all types of ridiculous. And then you've got the most serious Star Wars has ever been with Andor also playing at the same time. It's like this is why I love Star Wars, because you can have both of those things existing and being celebrated all at the same time in the same week. It's wild.
It just makes sense for Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is everywhere. You have so many things you can pull in. It's a great way to really and then that's how we found out Palpatine was coming back in VR, right?
Yeah.
Or in Fortnite, right? Yeah.
And Fortnite was the
So
big
what else will be announced, Mark?
That's so weird.
We don't know. We don't
what
know.
else? Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Who
There's
knows?
still surprises, I'm sure. I'll be
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I'll be excited for all of it for sure.
Yeah, and there's that free gear. Is the Stormtrooper free if you just have to log in, right?
Stormtrooper's free. Yeah, you just have to literally you click a link and you sync your Epic account with Disney Plus and you get a Stormtrooper, first order Stormtrooper. It's just it's in my locker. And you're ready to go. It's very, very easy.
Love it. Yeah, I love it. I love what Fortnite does with certain things. Like I did the last time I did something in Fortnite was the Alan Wake 2 experience, which was really amazing. I did get the Alan Wake skin and I got his stuff. So surprisingly, Mark, I haven't been back. But you know what? Maybe eventually they'll get me. Maybe in 5 years.
Yeah. If you want to watch the new Star Wars cartoon, join me on the 2nd. We'll have a little virtual hangout in Fortnite.
Sounds good.
And watch some Asajj Ventress cartoons. You've been playing some new stuff. I want to hear about this, especially the first one.
So South of Midnight, I have been traveling through that, and I did a poll because there's so many games coming out. I said, hey, what should I play? Because I've got so many games. I mean, I can jump around, and I put in Expedition 33. I put in South Midnight, Oblivion. There's a few others too. I think, I have Assassin's Creed Shadows from Gamefly. Just sitting there, not been played.
Great.
So I've got things, and it's funny. They just Gamefly just added Switch 2 games too, so I can add those on. So yeah, very cool. So South of Midnight was actually the top game rated to keep playing. So I started the game previously, and this is the game that we talked about last time I recorded. There's just a lot of like, I don't know, sour grapes about this game. It kind of feels like people want this game to be different than what it truly is. And I enjoy it for what it truly is. This is a good balance of, I would say, not deep combat, but combat you kind of loved when you were like in the PS2, PS3 era of video games. So good traversal, wall climbing or the wall traversal like from Titanfall. It's got some cool double jumping, the glide. It's got some cool power ups, the force pull, the force push, as whatever they're calling it. You're a weaver, so you get actually like these hooks and for weaving that she uses. But the appeal of this game is it's set in, let's call it Louisiana Bayou. That's the best way I could say it. It's basically in the deep south of the U.S. Your main character, she is African-American, and you find out your family has a deep heritage in basically magic and weaving. There's a big storm that comes through, and it takes away your mom after a big fight you just had, takes her away in the trailer that you live in, swept away. So now she's freaking out. Her daughter's freaking out, going to reach out to find her, and along the way you basically, it turns into like Alice in Wonderland, where you feel like you're in a mythology of the deep south. You run into a talking catfish who is absolutely hilarious, but you got to save him first, then he'll help you because he says, I know more about you, and it's just great. And you essentially use your powers to traverse. You have combat in arenas, but once you do that, you get enough. I think it's fluff is your like thing you collect to get more skill elements added to your skill tree. And one of the biggest mistakes they made, they put a couple of what I would say prime mechanics as things with cooldown, which I suck. It just sucks.
Yeah.
Having something at a cooldown. I think I talked about this last time, but
you did.
Over time you can upgrade it. So not a big deal. But since then, I've just gone through and really have appreciated the story. It builds, you get more skills, and the biggest next part I'm going after is Two-Toed Tom. Two-Toed Tom is a huge gator. He's a huge gator. He's got like things on his back, and he looks amazing. You're like, holy crap, how are we going to take him down? And everybody's afraid of him. Your buddy, the catfish, is scared of it too. And but along the way, you have like these little side quests about the people in the town. It's all about, and one of the things you have to do is kind of figure out their pain or their painful past and help them through it. And so you get these bottles that grow on trees, and your thing is like bottle up that hate, bottle up that fear. And one of the first stories is just it's a really touching story about two brothers, and it's just great. The way they do it, it's beautiful. The game opens up almost like claymation, and then it goes to this different style. So the style, you come for the style, the music, and the story, and the characters, and then the combat and things just feels like it's something to do to push along the story. So, but I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying the platforming, and the combat's okay. So, and it's not going to be a long game. I think it's got like 13 chapters. I'm at like chapter 4. So I'm still very early on, but it's not like you have to invest 80 hours, and it's not heavy handed. It's fun. The protagonist is great. It keeps building in. So I really think South of Midnight is great. I'm going to play more of it. I just have not had time. When your mom's in town, you spend time with her. You go see your kid. You do that stuff. You go to a award show. So yeah, because be like, Mom, shut up! I'm playing a game. Go away. Can't do that as an adult. It's not very nice.
Just give her a little.
I can't say like
when you're a teenager.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you can say go play with your grandson because he's not there because he's in college. So you have to entertain mom. So yeah, we do fun things. So I took her on a couple test drives while she was here. She enjoyed it. I did too. So yeah. So that is South of Midnight. Really enjoying it. Along the way, still playing Split Fiction. This is the game, Mark, that did you just hear? It just got it basically got optioned to be a new movie.
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney is going to be in it. Yes.
To start, yeah.
And the director of Wicked, John M. Chu. Yeah. How crazy is that? But it makes total sense. Wow. Because, I mean, this truly is you can just see the story and how it works out. Basically, two writers. I've talked about this game before. But what keeps me bringing back is my good buddy, Chris from 1H, 1D. Well, he'll do like, what's up? You want to play Split Fiction? And that's exactly what we do. He says, you up for it? So we're going to play tonight. I'm like, I'm podcasting, but let's play it tomorrow. So we keep playing it. It's great. It's something that we just enjoy. We're just, shooting the shit, having a good time, and it's enjoyable. So if you get an opportunity to get this game, I think you and Lauren would have a blast with it, or if it takes two. This one is less divorcey, so that's good. That you don't maybe want to talk about divorce with your wife, but this game is just a lot of fun. Every genre under the sun, it's great. I'm continuing to play that with Chris. Maybe when Logan comes back, I'll play it with him because we did start it when he was here. Couch co-op with Chris, it's great. That play pass that you get if you own the game, and you can share with somebody else to play. It's the best deal in gaming. It's amazing. So highly recommend it. I think it's $60, but I mean, it's not too expensive, and it will go down in price, but it's a great co-op game that you can play couch or online. Very seamless.
Awesome.
Yeah. The last game I just started because I just wanted to see what it looked like compared to the last time I tried this game, which was on, I think, backwards compatibility on Xbox Series X, which was Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, the game that I think was a launch title on 360, or maybe shortly after it came on 360, wasn't exclusive on 360 and PC, never came to PlayStation. Except it is now. The remaster is now on PlayStation, and it'll probably come to Switch eventually too. So, but this game, it just was shadow dropped last week. It essentially had, everyone thought it was going to happen. It did. And very cool entry to show you kind of like what they did. It's in Unreal Engine 5. The first game was 6 gigabytes. This is 128 gigabytes.
Wild.
Everything looks gorgeous. They did update the mechanics. They did update a lot of the menus. It still feels a little dated in certain ways, but it looks great. I was just getting in there, and my first death, Mark, I get killed by a rat. Like, I was not paying attention. and and you're just only wearing like cloth clothes. You're not really paying attention. I don't have a shield, and I found a sword from a dead body, killed by a giant rat. I mean, these are the rats from Princess Bride, if you know what I mean, like rats of unusual size. Yeah. So yeah, and there's so many of them. It's like, what is going down here? God Almighty, where's the exterminator? Just it's pretty good looking game. I mean, I think mine says it optimizes it for you, so you don't have to make any decisions. Playing at high settings, looks beautiful, runs great. They added a sprint before there was no sprint. They updated some of the things. I believe now there is no auto leveling, or basically where everything goes to the level you are. I believe they got rid of that. Yeah, which I get. Not everybody wants to feel like you're always at the same level of every enemy all the time. Sometimes you just want to feel like a badass. Like, I am going back to that first level and I'm going to kick butt. So I'm glad they've done a lot of these quality of life changes, and I'm enjoying it. I don't know if I will continue to get into it right away, because I do want to play Clair Obscur Expedition 33, because that's the game where I feel like it is the game that will turn people who are not into turn-based RPGs fans into turn-based RPG fans. I mean, it's a small team, I think 60 people in France, where they made a turn-based game from a European mindset, but who love JRPGs. And they said, we can make this better. We can trim the fat. We can get rid of all of the annoying things that people complain about with JRPGs. And the cast in that game is amazing. Charlie Cox, Ben Starr. I mean, and it's 30 hours. So it's no longer, it's 30 hours of content with 90 hours of grinding. And they've said there's so many amazing things. And they added like these really cool, almost like quick time events within the combat. So it keeps you actually engaged versus turn button, just wait. No, it's got you engaged. And because if you do them successfully, like you parry or you do something like that, it's really worth your while. So I like that, because I think that's what I have. And I think the best turn-based RPGs that I played valued your time. And that's why I love those South Park games so much, because they're like 20 hours long and there is really no grinding. It's just the story is going and you're getting better and enemies are getting harder, but you're still going through it, and it's hilarious. And the writing is what keeps you going, and the combat is entertaining and fun. So that's where I'm at with saying that I really want to try the game. So I did try just ESO just to see what it looks like, because it'll be there. It's a 21-year-old game, I think, at this point. So, and what was the barrier for me to get into the game is now kind of is gone. Like a lot of games, like if they're like Knights of the Republic, when they remake that one, which they're supposed to do, or remaster it, I will get back to that game. I'm not going to play a 20-year-old game now. Just not for me. So, yeah. So that's where we're at, Mark. So, and let's see, in 2 more weeks, we're going to have a lot more games coming out. So, hold your horses. I'm not sure if anything's on your horizon the next 2 weeks, but I don't know if I need any more games right now. So I'm okay with waiting.
Yeah, absolutely. And trying to get things out of there before I get a shiny new Switch 2. And I'm like, I got to play with this new toy to make it worth the money that I just paid for it. So it's like, even, new games coming out for other systems are going to be ignored for a little bit. So it's going to be a busy couple months.
Yeah, and I think the good part about with the Switch 2 coming back, and if you already own a Switch, is you don't feel compelled like, oh, well, if I don't finish on the Switch, I'll never be able to play it again. Yeah. You will be able to play it. It'll probably play better. So there's no reason like, oh, I got to finish my catalog of Switch 1 games. They'll come with you. So that's, versus the old days, like I'd have to like, well, I got to trade in my PlayStation 3 to get my PlayStation 4. So I've got to finish the library because I don't want to regret not playing a game. So I feel like that's gone. That FOMO is gone now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. Well, very good. That's what we've been gaming. Now it's time for an ad. So enjoy. We're sitting in the bonus round, Mark. Are you ready to talk about pre-order fun and launch title memories?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Switch 2 pre-orders went up for sale after the great tariff nightmare was, I guess, lifted. I don't know. Nintendo and a certain person had a standoff, and Nintendo said, well, we got to launch this thing eventually, and we got to sell some. So if we make it too expensive, we'll just go with it. So Nintendo stuck with their original prices in the US. Did they do anything in Canada, Mark, or did they stay the same in Canada?
Well, they followed your pricing, so it stayed the same. Aside from accessories and stuff. So the accessories, I don't know if you noticed, most of the accessories did go up in the States and here.
Like
So
$5
only by
for
like $5-10
controllers. Yeah.
controller kind of thing, but it kind of started to add up, right? So while the console stayed the same, the launch was definitely not unaffected by the tariffs, and sadly, that also affected us here, which I think is a good reason to bring Nintendo of Canada back in a proper way. I won't get into that too much, but apparently, things run through the States and then kind of get trickled up through here. So if we had our own direct distribution system and Nintendo of Canada proper, rather than just kind of being an extension of the US, great time for that right now. So we avoid that ding dong and all those crazy tariffs. But anyway,
Mark,
Switch 2 is coming.
I am more than willing to tell Nintendo if they want to hire me as their supply chain president, I will make Nintendo of Canada great again. I will make sure they can get systems through the great ports of Vancouver or your home neck of the woods. And we'll get those vehicles in there.
Yeah, depending on where they're coming from, it would be a weird way to travel
ports
all the way around. But get those things into Vancouver and let's call it a day.
Absolutely. Let's make it happen. To your point, they did raise some prices on accessories, but you know what? I think that's fine, because if you only want to if you don't want any accessories, that's fine. You don't have to pay the price. But if you want extra stuff, that will obviously haunt us for some time, because that's going to be the prices going forward. They're not going to reduce prices on that. So Mark, we'll talk about our pre-order hijinks. So how was your journey in pre-orderville in Canada?
It was pretty good, to be completely honest. So in Canada, they did it in like a weird kind of timing tier system. Each store did their own thing and picked their own time. Walmart was the first one. They did a midnight launch. They did it Eastern time. I'm in Atlantic time, so I had to stay up till 1 a.m., but I did. I had a little nap. It was fine. I had, I was ready to go. So I was up 1 a.m., ready to go. And of course, as was common with all of these launches, there were website issues. There was a ton of traffic. There was like Walmart. I was logged in. I had my credit card information saved. I was ready to go. Like one click, checkout. Let's do this. They logged everyone out. It was a mess. I had to log back in. It said they were gone. It said, the same kind of thing that you saw for pretty much every site. However, I stuck with it because I was like, well, you know what? I stayed up this late and I know how these things sometimes
what else you got to do
exactly. So, you keep hitting refresh, you keep ready, and I logged back in. I was ready to go. And again, ready for that one-click checkout. I wasn't messing around with accessories. I wasn't doing anything. It was the Mario Kart bundle, get it in, check out, call it a day. So as often happens with online launches, for the ease of math, I think this is kind of how it works. Let's say if they had 100 consoles, they only put up 80 or 90 of those to actually be able to buy. Because what happens if two people click at the same time? Or what happens if there's a glitch? Or we don't want to oversell, so we'd rather undersell and then maybe put a few more up. And then you also have the people whose credit cards are declined, or who this or that or whatever. So there's usually a second batch of these. I got mine at around 115, 120, something like that. It came back up. It said there were 14 left in the store or something like that. Then it shot down to 9 by the time I had it in my cart. I hit checkout. I was one of the people to get that little second wind refresh, and I went to bed. I was done. Everything was done by like 25 after 1. By that time, I went back to the main store. The Pro controllers were sold out. I did manage to snag a memory card as well from Walmart on a second order. And then Amazon Canada, I know you guys had some weird Nintendo Amazon issues down there.
Yes, Canada, we do.
It was great. I got my Pro controller pre-ordered through Amazon. There is a wait list for Amazon Prime customers. I haven't seen an email come through for that, so I don't know how they're actually doing like the console rollout. But I did put my name on a list because my brother and a few other friends were still looking. So I was like, if you can't get one, I've got my name on an Amazon list. We have backups. But yeah, so the next day, like I said, my brother, a couple of friends, we were all looking. So it was like Best Buy went up at a certain time. There was like Staples, like Office Depot kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
Staples had a weird little pre-order at one point.
Isn't there like a weird like Canada, pharmacy you have in Canada that does stuff too, that sells things like electronics?
Do things.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know if they had any Switch 2 pre-orders. I didn't see them pop up on the list, but basically we were just all checking through, and if I saw something pop up, I'd message like my brother and a friend of mine, John, who was trying to get them. And all morning I was kind of playing like point guy because it was a pretty slow morning at work, so I was able to be like, yo, this place has them, go, here's a link, go, here's a direct link, do that. So everyone got one, which was awesome. Everyone that wanted one. My brother ended up getting 2, and his friend and co-best man at his wedding on the other one, Breton, they got a spare. My brother and his fiance both pre-ordered around the same time, and she doesn't want one. So it was just kind of like everyone was trying to get one, right? And so my brother has 2 coming in, and they were just like, does anyone want it? And Breton was like, I didn't get one, so Breton's got one now. So all of us that wanted one here locked one in. The accessories were a bit of a pain in the butt, but so far so good. No one's gotten that like, hey, we overbooked, your pre-order has been canceled email.
Thank God. I was going to say, check your emails, because somebody was doing that. They were playing games like, you got it, just kidding, but you actually got it, but no, you didn't. Yeah,
I check every day. I'm still a little bit paranoid, but so far so good. Everything's locked in, everything's ready to go, and everyone's happy. So all things considered, aside from some website crashes, like Best Buy, I think is where my brother got his. They were supposed to go live at, I want to say local time, 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
By the time the site stopped crashing and people could get it in their cart, I think my brother messaged me around 12:30 and said, I finally got one. So like from 10 o'clock till 12:30, the website was just straight up crashing, not loading, not letting people do anything, saying they were out of inventory, but they never went up. It was a mess. So how was your experience?
US was a little different. So I'm in Central Time. So every time I saw things that saying at midnight, that was actually going to be 11 my time. So I think it was confusing some people. Some people thought it was going to be like the night of the 24th versus like kind of basically the morning of the 24th, because, midnight. So a little confusing. So I'm assuming, I told a bunch of people, like, remember, guys, it's tonight, not tomorrow. Yeah. So I had to remind Sean. I'm like, Sean, remember, because he was like, I'm asking. So Sean and I were basically texting back and forth as this was all coming up. So I have 2 monitors right here, Mark. I had my phone out. So literally, I had a Target over there. I had Best Buy over there, Walmart over there. GameStop wasn't going to do theirs until 11 a.m. in the morning, both online and in store. Amazon is not doing anything yet. They have a weird relationship. Like, they didn't even sell, like, I forgot what it was, that they'll eventually do something. Costco finally came out and said, we'll have Switch 2 on June 5th. Wow. There's no pre-order. You just show up at a Costco, you might get one.
There was a Costco. That was another one that went pre-orders in Canada.
Okay.
That's weird.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Nothing for us. It's basically, come to Costco, buy your, bulk milk, and maybe get a Switch 2.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's very odd, very random. And let's see, anybody else? No, that was about it. So like Newegg, that they were saying, hey, we're going to have some, or they were doing pre-ordering, didn't do anything. But yeah, it was the regular, suspects, Best Buy, Target, and Walmart. That was pretty much where you were going to go. Target was a hot mess, Mark. Like literally, I was just trying to make sure, hey, you got my data, right? You got my card and all this stuff. Mark, I got the red card with Target. That's one of the things you do. Target, you get 5% off. It says, we don't have any payment options on file for you. I'm like, really, Target? Really? So then I tried to change out an old credit card, put that in. Nope, didn't work. Just the website was locked down, couldn't do anything, went to crap. So I gave up on Target. Like everybody else, I gave up on Target very early on because I'm like, then the website didn't work. It was a pain in the butt. Target has a history of just having a bad website, and after all these years, and they also got rid of all their DEI initiatives, which for me was like, okay, great, why? And they're suffering. So I choose not to work with them right now. But still, hey, if they can sell me a Switch 2, that's fine. Best Buy, on the other hand, chose to say, 12 Eastern? Just kidding. We don't know when we're going up. Just no clue. Like it was just waiting. Like nothing's happening. And Mark, I will say having the website up was no guarantee of anything. Essentially, it was like, if it's open, it doesn't matter. Don't keep it open. Yeah, to your point, refresh. Yep. And then the dreaded queue. That was new at Walmart this year, new at Best Buy. So Best Buy, nothing happened at Best Buy. I thought I was going to get in, didn't get in. I was perfectly fine. I had both windows up for I didn't care if I get the bundle or not. It's $30. Not going to kill me in the end. Nothing happened. Walmart, I was in a queue and it says, just keep this open. It'll eventually happen. Like 45 minutes. Sean and I are going back and forth. Hey, you got this? I got this. You got this? You got this. Nope. Don't have this. Don't have that. I don't know if Sam's Club had it yet or not. I don't remember, but it was a hot mess. Mark, I laughed because I said, screw this. Now I think it's almost like 1 a.m. in the morning for me. 2 hours at this. Like I've seen people get it. I'm like, how did you guys get it? Are you in Magic? And then they said, like, use your app. The app is better than PC. I'm like, okay, I'll try that. Yeah. That didn't work either. But Mark, what did I do when I dumped Walmart? I just went back to the website and I looked for the non-bundle. Got it. It's like, what?
No way.
Yes, it was so weird. Yeah, it was so weird. I went back and got it. So yeah, it was like all that nonsense, the lines and everything like that. And next day, GameStop, their website just broke. Like you wouldn't believe it. It broke so poorly. And when it finally did, it's like sold out. Great. I mean, if I was not at the, if I was available to go, I probably would have gone to GameStop like during my lunch and just stayed there and said, in my little hometown across the way, I'm like, how many people would actually be there? Because they said, I saw some like GameStop saying we have 30 of this bundle, we have 20 of this bundle. Yeah. And apparently the Mario Kart bundle was the one they sold the most of, which makes sense. I mean, they want to sell $50 more per system with a code, and you don't get a game card, you just get a code. So it's not like you have something you can eventually sell anyway. So it's your game. So long story short, Sean got 1 or 2. I think he got 2, maybe he got 1 or 2. I am still registered with Nintendo. So that's the thing. If you're registered with Nintendo, you are the owner of your NSO family, and you have a certain number of hours played online, you will potentially get an email from Nintendo in May 9th, I think, that says you can buy a system from Nintendo.
Yeah, I registered for that the second I saw it pop up, and it was pretty quick before it was shared too much. So that was still a backup for me.
Yes.
And is still a backup in case any one of us gets canceled. The downside for that is that you have like 48 hours or something like that to lock in. It's not guaranteed they have stock, all this kind of stuff. So I don't know if I'm going to be jumping on that or just let the link expire or click a decline button or whatever. We'll see in May what happens. But for now, I like having that as like a safety net.
Yes.
But it's weird. It's a weird kind of distancing thing from Nintendo. It's strange.
I'm perfectly fine with keeping the one I've got. I would like to get the bundle, so that's my backup with Nintendo. If I don't, I have it. But if I do get the bundle, I will say, if anybody wants this, let me know. Because I did that with I was console clause with PS5. I think I got 1 million of those things, and I found homes for them with friends, not scalping or anything. So if that's where it is, I will help somebody get a core system. If I do get the combo or the bundle, I did pre-order a Switch 2 Pro controller, and I did pre-order the Tulin amiibo because my son wants it so bad. And by the way, the amiibo went up $10 on the baseline, and the Street Fighter 6 amiibos are $40 for a little figurine that doesn't do anything. So it's kind of crazy. The amiibo were the worst impacted because those are the cheapest things, and now they are $30 and $40 respectively. So, but yeah, I'm hearing most people, if they really tried hard, got one. So that's a good thing. I know Nintendo is like, they made more. I know in Japan, like they said, overwhelming pre-orders. We couldn't get into everybody, like 2 million in Japan, which is huge. But we do know, and Matt Biss could tell us that, don't gauge pre-orders and year one as a success of the Switch 2. Go to like year 2, when everybody who is a fiend and the holiday season is over, where that demand hits, what games are coming out, and see where it lands, because those consoles are still $450 and $500. And if and I ask you this, Mark, all those casuals that loved Animal Crossing when it was on the Switch Lite and the Switch One, and you could get into the door with maybe $260 to play Animal Crossing, for anybody that's going on board, it's going to be a minimum for $520 or more to get an island. And if Nintendo pulls the bullshit of you can only get one island on one Switch, too, riot. Yep.
And we're not, hopefully, going to be in the middle of a global pandemic that everyone is inside and looking for ways to communicate and connect. And hey, do you want to come visit my island? Isn't really going to be like as amazing as a thing. We were just talking about this, Lorena and I, the other day, because like that was such a great way to, kind of keep in touch and feel like you were hanging out with someone for a little while. And I had like really weird experiences. Like, what's it? Elijah Wood. I went over to his village, or he came over to mine. I can't remember exactly how that worked out, but wasn't
there an election island with Biden or something like that?
Yeah, Biden had an election island. Really weird stuff. Switch news. Breaking news right now. Nintendo Switch update 20.0.0 is out right now. Includes support for virtual game cards, game share, user verification settings, online license settings, and the ability to transfer to Nintendo Switch 2. So you can go update your Switch right now.
This is even better, Mark. If you trade in your Switch system, they have the ability to upload it in advance, your Switch 1.
Yeah.
So that's a serious worry, right? Like, if I can't, what do I do? There's no cloud. Where do I put my stuff? And I don't want to start from over. This is great. Nintendo is finally getting it. It's like, we know you're going to trade in your Switch 1. A lot of people. So, and most GameStops are probably not going to say, okay, here's the system and do this and maybe wait 3 hours until it uploads. Bring it back, right? You'll do that. Yeah.
So that's out right now. You can go check that out. And Amazon Canada is sending out more invites. So the invites to pre-order are going out. I haven't received mine yet, but apparently they are going out. So,
Amazon's doing that.
That's what you're waiting for. Do that.
Amazon's been doing more of that. When the NVIDIA 50 series graphics cards went out, they started doing invites to basically
that's cool.
help avoid all of the scalpers and things, which is great. Somebody's got to fix this stuff, Mark. There's got to be a better way to do this, and I don't know what it is. I mean,
that seems to work. It didn't crash Amazon. I was able to get the Pro controller, no problem. Nothing crashed. It went up. The pre-order or the getting myself on the Amazon list was super easy. I'm a Prime member, have been for a while. that was like one of the stipulations. It was like, as long as you're a Prime member, you're this, you're that, whatever. Here's the sign up thing. We'll email you when you're ready. Have a nice day. And apparently they're just sending out emails as they can. They're staggering it so the website doesn't crash. I don't know if Amazon will or would ever crash, but like they seem to be doing it right. So that's kind of neat.
I saw another update. It says with a new update from Nintendo, DLC can be shared as virtual game cards.
Oh shit! Okay, that's cool.
That's pretty cool. Because I didn't realize how they would manage that. Right when you got your virtual game card, you're gonna loan to your buddy or between systems. So that is interesting. And remember, folks, that is something you can do if you own multiple switches in a household. You can share, and then there's also if you're, as long as you're in the vicinity, like your brother came over, and you guys shared in the same Wi-Fi, you could then be a library of your Switch 2 can be a library where you can loan it out for 2 weeks, and then they have to return it. Yeah, like Kindle.
Yeah, that's neat. Yeah.
All right, Mark. So, overall, great. One question, though, before we get into like kind of a comparison on the launch lineups of all these systems, do you have a favorite pre-order or like waiting in line for a console launch memory?
Specifically just console, or like midnight launches in general?
Midnight launch is fine. Yeah, I mean, because I never did stand in line. Well, I stood in line once at midnight for a console. That was the only one.
I've got a few. Like I remember the Wii U. And to your point before, like, wait till year 2, because like Wii U had like a pretty decent launch, right? Like I remember lining up at Best Buy and talking to some friends that I knew and some people that I was like, oh, I'm surprised you're waiting for a Nintendo console. Like I love Nintendo. Like how have we never talked about this? Like it was, those kind of experiences waiting in an actual physical line. So those kind of things are always exciting. I remember like even the GameCube launch, like I didn't get it at launch, but I remember like the excitement. I forget what grade I was in, like whatever it was, like somewhere in high school. But like, I remember like that buzz around like Smash Brothers and this and that. And just like that general chat around a new console launch. But my favorite launch ever, midnight launch, was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. With the night vision goggles. That was badass.
Collector's edition. Yeah.
I was in Alberta at the time working, and I found a Best Buy there, and ended up just like going and waiting at midnight in like a town that I had never been to, and then like met some other gamers and stuff, and like ended up like chilling with a couple of guys, and like one of them like invited me over his place the next day, kind of thing. Like it was great, and we like added each other on Xbox. It was like it was really cool, and I got the night vision goggles, and I've wanted those since I saw Jurassic Park, and it was really cool. And I was like just starting to date my wife, and I got a call the same day that my grandfather was like cancer free. It was a neat, nice. It was like a very good day. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because pre-orders weren't a thing in a certain time until like pre-orders probably became a thing with, was it the PS4 generation? Was the first like pre-orders became a big deal, like getting pre-orders online, doing that stuff. And then before that, like in line, I mean, it was basically, remember those like PS2, PS1. That era was just huge for just the launch, because you didn't know where it was going to be. You just showed up at your local store and hopefully you got it. Maybe you get so many, like Best Buy has 30, here's your ticket. You stand in line, and now you're 31 and you just get sad. And you're like, oh, I saw somebody cut in line. No cutsies. So I have two memories. So the lamest system launch pre-order was the Wii U for me, Mark. I showed up, I pre-ordered it. I'm like, I'm so excited. Showed up, nobody was there. I pre-ordered it, showed up, it was empty. I said, how's the pre-order going? Oh, we got like 10 in the back. Nobody was there, Mark.
Wow. That's crazy.
It was like
my small Best Buy. It was like there was a lineup. That's nuts.
Nope. And then I'm like thinking, I've got it in the car, and I'm like, why did I get this? I looked at the launch line. I actually returned it. I returned it. I'm like, I'll wait until there's more games to play. And that was a smart decision with the Wii U because that system had a lot of droughts. It had a lot of droughts. Yeah. So that was kind of like blameless. But probably the funnest one I had was actually a Black Friday GameStop drop. I was up at midnight for it. And that was, I had did I have one of the original 3DSs or something? No, I had a DS Lite. I was trading that in because they had introduced on Black Friday for some reason the Nintendo 3DS Ocarina Time 3DS edition. Came with the game.
Yep.
I was so excited. I'm like, I'm gonna get this pre-order, I'm gonna get this new system, gonna get this. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah. And that was great. I loved it. I talked to people. It was great. It was cold, and it was definitely well worth it. And yeah, I loved that system. I ended up trading in for a new 3DS XL just because it was more comfortable. So, which is probably the wrong mistake. I should have probably kept it and said, it's not worth the cost. I did get a lot for trading though. It was like it kept its value. So yeah, that is my tale of two pre-orders, or not even a pre-order, like launch and the weird like special edition, which was a cool time to get. Like special editions are hard to get to every time. Yeah. So there we go. So Mark, let's talk about the Switch. We're going to hit the Switch 2 launch lineup. We're going to talk about other launch. We'll just go through these very quickly.
Sure.
And then we'll say how do they rank. But we'll get into the Switch 2 lineup. That this system is coming out. When I say lineup, I mean like they say it's coming out in 3 months. If it's included in that launch window, we're going to be okay with it. Okay. So let's talk about these launch lineups through history. But we'll start with the Switch 2. So the Switch 2 is a unique one. So it's got 22 games, Mark. I'll go through these games really quick. Mario Kart World, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom Upgrade, Switch, what is it called? What are they calling these games? They're calling them the Switch Editions.
Switch 2
Editions.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Comes with the game, comes with the upgrade, but not necessarily the DLC for Breath of the Wild. That's an extra $10. Cyberpunk 2077's Ultimate Edition. The full game is on a 64 gigabyte card. The rarity. Let's see. Deltarunes Chapter 1 through 4. I believe that's not going to be a physical release. It'll just be on the eShop. Split Fiction. Great that this game is coming to Switch right away. It's awesome. It'll work great. And then let's see. Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. It's $40 and it comes with one of those. What are they calling it? Game cards? Game.
The game card thing that like unlocks the game, basically game
you
key
get
or something.
It's like having it's like having a Blu-ray, but it doesn't actually contain the game on it. It's basically just a game key card, maybe
something like that.
But I think it's a bigger benefit than just a digital loan because you 100%. Can then sell that game or share it.
Yeah,
I think this is the way to go.
Solution for it, yeah.
And you get something to put on your wall, or put in get the case and look at the card. That's cool. Yep. Civilization 7. Deltarune. Okay, Fast Fusion. Don't know what that game is.
I think Civilization 7 is an underrated launch title for this because of the mouse support. I think that's going to be the definitive way to play it on a console.
I think you're right.
Say what you will
Xbox
about the game.
Xbox Series, you can put in a keyboard and mouse.
It's not baked in.
No,
This is you can get the Switch 2 out of the box with no accessories, not even a Pro Controller, and play Civilization 7 with mouse support. I know the game's not the best one in the series from reviews that I've read, but that is a very, very cool leg up for the Switch 2 edition of Civilization 7.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a cool idea if you like those games, and putting it. I don't know how it's going to play on a really small screen, but people obviously do it on Steam Decks. It's about the same size, so that is that. But putting it on the big screen probably looks beautiful, higher frame rate, and obviously selecting things with the mouse, that'd be great. Fast Fusion, a game I don't know what it is, so we'll move on. Final Fantasy Remake Integrate. This is the first time it's on something other than a PlayStation console. This is great. Yeah, that's awesome. That comes with the extra DLC content, by the way. Fortnite, it's the updated version, which is great, means it's at the level you'll probably be able to play with other console members, so that's great. Then we get the NSO games, F-Zero GX. We get Soul Calibur 2, Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker. Am I missing any others? Is it three at launch?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
They released a list of other games that are coming. There's a couple like
Yes.
Pokemon or whatever, but like those are the three. Day one, take it out. GameCube. Let's go.
Need to have the expansion pack, folks. Just remember that. But you also, if they have the expansion pack, you get the upgrade packs for both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So it's kind of worth it just for that, because now I can just turn it on for, it's 20. I think it's 10 or 20 bucks if you don't have it. So experience it that way. Let's see. Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition. It's so funny. Nintendo has assassins on it. So, but that series is great. I love that series. Hogwarts Legacy. This is the way to play it. I know it came out on the Switch, but that was not a pretty looking game. Maybe Loren will double dip on the go.
It sucks that there's no upgrade path.
No.
Even if there was something, like if you have the Switch version,
did get a patch or something, right?
It's two.
Yeah.
Well, I understand it's two completely different versions, but like I've seen them do this for other like Xbox games and different things. If you own this version, get this for a discounted price. I'm not saying give it for free. I understand that it's a launch and it's a brand new version of the game and blah, 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 whatever the hell. But just give them a path. 50% discount, 40% discount, something, rather than a full double dip. Just kind of seems.
I'm assuming it's 72.
Yeah. So I will be completely honest. That being a full double dip is the reason I didn't pre-order 2 Switches.
Yeah.
That was Loren's deciding game. She wanted to play that. She was not impressed with the Switch edition. We have it on the Xbox. She was looking at the Switch too, like, I can play this game handheld anytime I want to. This is awesome. It's going to run so much better on Switch 2. What do you mean I have to pay for it over again? I am not rushing to get this system. Do not try to pre-order me one. We're done. So we had the money for hers set aside, and she was just like, no. It's like, but it's only one game. We can play other things. She's like, no, the launch lineup, that was the one thing on the launch lineup. Yeah. We can play Mario Kart together. We can play Split Fiction. We can do this, whatever. I can, if I want to play Wind Waker, I'll just steal yours and borrow it because she doesn't want to play the full game. So that was the game that she was getting the Switch 2 for. And the fact that she didn't get even a 10% discount for owning the game twice already. But like the Switch edition of the game. Straight up, don't pre-order this for me.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, there you go. And games are more expensive. Basically, the baseline is probably anywhere from $40 to $80 of these Switch games. Moving on to Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening Complete Edition. If you're interested, you know what that game is. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S. There's always a Tetris game. Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma, if you like farming sims. Split Fiction, Street Fighter 6, Survival Kids. And then you've got the 2 Switch 2 editions, which unfortunately are both $80, which is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which is crazy that you're paying $20 more, well, $10 than Tears of the Kingdom, 3 or 4 years later. Kind of crazy. And then Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. And I will give credit to a lot of third-party games. If they're coming to Switch, there's something typically more than just the base game. So just like Cyberpunk, those other games. So very cool. Very exciting. And at this point, Mark, grade this launch lineup really quick. We're going to go 1 out of 5. 5 being best, 1 being worst.
Sir, you're completely frozen.
Did I?
If you think
Hello?
you can be serious.
Yep. Oh, you're back.
Can you see me now? Okay.
I can
I'm
see
back,
you
folks.
and hear you, but you completely froze there for a second. So, sir, could you repeat that?
So we are going to grade each of these lineups, launch lineups, 1 to 5, or I can go to 1 to 10, whatever would you prefer. 1 to 10, 1 to 5. Probably 1 to 10 is a little more granular. Let's do that.
10.
Is that better?
10. Let's go 10. Okay. Yeah, sure.
We'll go 10. So you can use 0.5s, whatever you want. What would you rank this launch lineup at?
7, 6. It's not great. Like Mario Kart looks amazing, but aside from that, like all of this, if they're pitching Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, like they're more expensive. They've been out forever, like Breath of the Wild, especially. I mean, it launched with this system. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. A lot of this has been out for other things. It's probably discounted on other consoles. Looking at you like Split Fiction, Cyberpunk, Street Fighter, like a lot of this stuff is out already. Is anyone buying a Switch 2 for Fortnite? I'm gonna enjoy Fortnite on a Switch 2, but I'm not buying it for that. I'm buying it because I have poor impulse control. The launch lineup for Switch 2, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Not wildly impressive to me. But like Donkey Kong looks good and a couple of the experiences.
That's the thing.
Good,
if Donkey Kong is essentially in that launch window because it's coming in July, so it's like a month later. So if we could almost include it in the launch window, but at this point it's not listed here. So I would say Donkey Kong is
for Kirby. I think Kirby is coming out in June, July, August, something like that. It looks like a great update. Finn is over the moon excited about that one.
Star Wars game I don't know if it has a release date yet. Outlaws, which is kind of cool. Yeah, now that all those bugs have been laid out. So I think longer term launch window, it's more attractive. But for like day one, if you don't get any more games, you had no opportunity to buy any other games. That's what we're judging this on. So you said a 6-ish?
I think so. And especially where you like, I don't think anyone, I'll give it a 7 because of the GameCube on NSO. And I'm assuming people who are pre-ordering the Switch 2 at launch are crazy people like you and I, who have been locked into NSO for the last 7.5 years and are going to get the extra value for that. So day one, assuming you order the bundle, you are getting a great open world new Mario Kart game, updates for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX baked into your console, because I already have NSO, and that's so like all of that stuff being baked in plus backwards compatibility. I'll give it a 7, but that's as far as I'm going with it. Because otherwise it's not like there's some excitable experiences, but they're all like old or weird little caveats or little things. So that's kind of where I'm feeling. How you've been higher on the Switch 2 than I have, which is a weird turnaround. So how you feeling for that?
This is the hard one, because if I will grade this on as it is. So for me, it's pretty it's not that great. It's not like it's Breath of the Wild. Like, oh God, I'm going to play that game. It's one of the best games. I love that game. So yep, not there. So for me, Donkey Kong or Mario Kart's not like one of my top games. But the NSO games are very fun for me. So I would say for me, probably won't play a lot of, I will try Mario Kart, and I will really enjoy Soul Calibur. Quite honestly, that's the one I'm looking the most for, because I like that game, what it did.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 6. I'm going to give it a 6 for what it is. Yeah. I think if people are only Switch fans, they haven't bought PlayStation or Xboxes, this is pretty damn cool, because you're getting a lot of cool games that they just have not had the best option to play. So that's what I'm going to leave it at. But knowing that Donkey Kong Country comes out the next month, that makes my day. Hey, gave me a 3-platformer for Nintendo. I'm always there. So that's where I'm like, I'm cool, because I'll find other things to play until those other games come out. And I already have a Switch, so I can play those other games I already purchased as well. So I think that's where we stand. Yep. Okay, Mark. Let's go backward in time, and we're going to go through these games really quick. We won't say much about them unless you have something to say. We'll give it a grade. So we already let me just mark this down really quick. You gave the Switch 2 lineup a what?
I gave it a 7 if you have NSO, which I assume people will.
Mark, what is your rating? No, what?
7.
No, if you. Okay, there you go. I'm going to give it a 6. Okay, let's go with this. Xbox Series X. This is going to be fun, because I'm grading this on mainly what was new and unique to Xbox Series X versus, hey, you can play this. So these are the games, Mark. Wow, there's a long list of games. I don't know if I can even go through this. I'm going to call out Dead by Daylight was a launch game. Was it? Really? It seemed like a Xbox One game. Am I wrong?
Was there any cross
I'm just looking here. Is this a list of just, because Seas Thieves, was that a launch title on Series X? Or was it just optimized?
There was an updated edition right away for Series X. So like,
I'm just going to go through this. Let's. Can we find something that was just yes, upgrade Series X upgrade? So is there anything that was not? I don't know. Is there any like I don't know if there was any truly. Because we didn't have the Halo game got delayed, right? Halo Infinite got delayed a year. I don't think there was one
primary
exclusive, was there?
Launch game, according to Google's very quick AI thing that I just searched.
Okay.
The primary exclusive launch games for the Xbox Series X was Gears Tactics. While it was a new game, it was a spin-off from the main Gears of War series. Other games were available at launch, but Gears was the most prominent exclusive.
Okay. I'll take that versus my list, because my list looks like it was all like upgrades. So assuming it was Gears Tactics on the Series X, how would you rate that game, the console launch?
The Series X for me was 100%.
Excluding hardware.
Xbox. No, it was. I love my Xbox Series X. I sold my Xbox One X a couple of months early to get the most value for this. I waited for it, but it was an unimpressive launch lineup if you were looking for exclusive games. I just wanted my games to run better, and I looked at this like a PC upgrade where I was just, things were going prettier and I was just getting a better machine. So launch lineup 2.
Agree. I'm going to say 1 because I'm not a tactics guy. Yeah. So I felt like, I got better looking games, but it was no reason to launch into it unless you just wanted your games to run faster. So yeah, that was me. I did not get a Xbox Series X at launch because I'm like, I want Halo Infinite to be there. So, so Mark, you got a 2, I got a 1. That's not great. Let's go to PS5. This, we're going to notice that these new consoles don't have great launches. So the games that I know that were exclusives were Astro's Playroom, Bug Snacks, Demon Souls. That was pretty cool. We had Godfall, that weird like epic engine game. I don't know what Gunya Fighter is. We did get Miles Morales, but that was cross-gen. Like we got it on PS4. So I'm not going to count that either. So I'm going to say it was Astro's Playroom, Bug Snacks, and Godfall, and Demon Souls. Okay, Demon Souls. Okay, 4 games for PS5. What are you going to give it, Mark?
4.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe a 5 because of Astro.
Yeah.
No, Astro's.
I got the pity points.
Is that the good Astro? That's like the good one, right? Or is that a different?
So Astro was, so Playroom was the basically was the end. It was showing you what the PlayStation did with Astro, with all the DualSense things. So it was free. It was free. It's not the full game, the $60 you just got. It was the pack-in for free. You didn't have to pay anything for it. It was the last, I think we got, and it was basically showing what the system does, the DualSense. It was the celebration of PlayStation. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah, no, I'm giving this a 3.
Okay, so Bug Snacks didn't do anything. Demon Souls didn't do anything for you. Okay,
no.
Okay. No. So you give it a 3?
I think so. As far as exclusive, I mean, I'd probably be in a little hard on these because like the Switch is the same. Like the Switch 2, it's going back. So we just gave that a 6 and a 7. I think we're being overly harsh in retrospect on these consoles.
Yeah.
Having Miles Morales, Spider-Man Remastered. I was
gonna say if you didn't have a PS4 and you played Miles Morales on your PS5, I'm gonna essentially it's a launch title. Yeah.
I'm gonna jump PlayStation's up. I'm still leaving Xbox down pretty far. I'm gonna jump PlayStation up to a 6.
Okay, so 6 for Mark. I'm gonna go because I had
that was a good launch.
Yeah, so I had a PS5 and I had Miles Morales, and I was in heaven. I love that game because I played the way God intended, not a dreaded PS4. Just kidding. If you had it, and then Demon Souls looked great. Was not a game for me. So you know what? And Bugsnax was free on PlayStation Plus, so that was a fun, goofy game that had a memeable. Yeah.
Okay, so see, I just paid for Bugsnax on my Switch just for Finn. So that I'm thinking of that as a paid game. If that was free on PlayStation Plus,
it was free at launch. Yeah, on PlayStation Plus. Yeah.
Okay. See, that's kind of like jumping into the NSO thing. So I'm happy with my 6 because you get more games for the NSO versus like
weird some value.
Bugsnax.
Yeah.
There's a tiny.
You got 2 games to play for free, essentially, if you needed it for free. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go 8 just because I had Miles Morales. I think Demon Souls, for those who wanted it, looked great. You hadn't been able to play that game since PS3. It wasn't backwards compatible. So I think for me, that's like value, and the Astrobot thing was just clever and sold the DualSense for me. Okay, we're going to Switch, Mark. My goodness, this is what Switch. This might be the pinnacle. I don't know, but let me look and see if I remember this right. So maybe I'm wrong. Actually, I'm wrong. Not launch window, launch lineup. 1-2 Switch. Just Dance 2017. I don't know if you count that. Legend. What is this? Breath of the Wild. Yep. Skylanders Imaginators. Superman Bomberman R. I Am Setsuna. Snipper Clips. Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. And Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment. Was that one release, or was it just? I thought that was one. Wasn't it? Or was it?
You didn't have to get Spectre Trove. Or Treasure Trove. That Spectre of Torment was included in Treasure Trove. But Spectre of Torment could also be its own game that you could just purchase for less money.
Got it. And Fast RMX, I do remember that ARMS was not a launch title. Mario Kart was not a launch title. Splatoon was not a launch title. And Mario Odyssey was not a launch title either. So quite honestly, some of the best games were yet to come. But for the launch, and I remember a lot of eShop games went crazy because people just wanted something to play. So like those early eShop games were crazy, like Snake Tail or whatever it's called, or Snaky, maybe. So
what was that game called?
Snake Turn, Snake something, Snake and Bake. I don't know. I keep coming up with games, Mark.
Snake Pass? Snake something?
Sure. But that Snake game that you remember that everybody played because that was the game you had. So with these games, Mark, how would you rate this game? Because Imaginators was also was on other systems, but the rest, I mean, Shovel Knight, I think so. There were a few like games you could play elsewhere, but there were a few exclusives.
Snipper Clips almost led to a divorce before I got married. But Breath of the Wild is one of the best games ever made. So it's really tough to judge this because otherwise it's not wildly impressive, but like Shovel Knight being there, Skylanders was huge at the time, but kind of starting to wane. Snipper Clips was really, really fun and unique. And then Breath of the Wild, like this was a good one, man. I'm thinking 8 simply for Breath of the Wild.
Okay. For me, if Breath of the Wild was not there, and it was on Wii U, so quite honestly, though, if you didn't own a Wii U, it didn't exist, right? So that's the caveat. It's like the PlayStation games. It's like it's still a game that if you had the Switch, that's what you're playing on. So I would say if it wasn't for Breath of the Wild, wow, this launch was bad.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 7 because Breath of the Wild is all I needed. But yeah, that's a huge caveat. If it was not there, but it's still one of the best games. That's one of the best launch games ever. So yeah. So, but I'm just saying the quality of the lineup. One game does not save a whole launch. Is the best way to put it.
No. Yeah. Snake Pass was the name of that game. I did pull that from somewhere back in my mind, and
not Snaky. Not I. Okay, I'm not going to go back and make some more fake names. Okay, Mark, Xbox One, really quick. I would say the games that we could call out as unique: Crimson Dragon, Dead Rising 3, I believe was the game. It was Dead Rising 3. Fighter Within, Forza Motorsport 5, Killer Instinct, Loco Cycle, Power Star Golf, Rise Son of Rome, Xbox Fitness, and Zuma Fitness World Party. Remember, Kinect was built in, so you had all these weird games those are the ones I call out that I would say are exclusives, and you saw there were a lot more exclusives on this system. But And I would say launching with a Forza game at launch, that's pretty impressive.
Good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And you get like, this is another weird one, because like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, that did run on 360, or was that exclusive to this
Yes, cross-gen game. Nope, cross-gen game.
Okay.
Yeah, not the way you wanted to play it, but yeah, having it was very impressive in these new consoles.
Crap, yeah,
these were HD
on this.
Yeah, these were really, really HD, not kind HD.
So
kind HD or real HD.
I remember seeing like Assassin's Creed Black Flag on the Xbox One and just being like, holy crap. And like same thing, like that was PS4, Xbox One. So I'm kind of combining the two of those, but like seeing that upgrade. So Xbox One, yeah, I'm gonna go with like, I don't know, man. It's tough because it's not a wildly impressive launch lineup aside from Forza. But I'm also trying to divorce myself from like launch lineup and absolute bundled launch. You know what I mean? Like they fumbled it so hard with the Xbox One of like
price, performance.
You can't do this, and like it was such a shit.
And
launch.
backwards compatibility didn't exist at launch, so it's not like let's play my Xbox 360 games to look better. No, that was something later. So essentially, these are the games you got to play for maybe 2 months, 3 months, and then maybe there's something on Xbox, live or whatever it was at the time. Yeah. So
I want to say another like 5, 6, maybe.
Okay.
For this one,
5.5. You can go halfsies.
I'll go 5. Screw it. I'm not doing halfsies.
Okay. So I will say, I will give this a higher score. I'm going to give this a 7.5 because Rise, Son of Rome, pretty impressive game.
Ooh, right.
Loco Cycle was a game by the Splosion Man team. And that was pretty cool that we were getting this really cool indie game kind of coming through that Xbox owned. Dead Rising 3 was an amazing game. And then you got Forza. So I think this is a pretty solid lineup.
You're probably better than, you're probably remembering it better. I'm going to jump it up to what are you going, 7.5?
Yeah, and also Killer Instinct, Mark, an awesome fighting game.
Killer Instinct was, you know what, I'm jumping up to a 7. Yeah, you're right. Those were some good, that's some good stuff. Yeah.
They delivered on the games, yet they said TV, which is weird.
Right. And I'm having such a hard time divorcing myself from like killer launch lineup, absolute shit messaging.
Yeah.
And you're right.
Tarnished
if you
everything.
Can just look at the lineup.
Yeah.
Man, they fumbled this because that's a good lineup.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's compare that to PlayStation 4. I believe Angry Birds Star Wars was one of their lineup, but I'm not looking at that. So we had Blacklight Retribution. Contrast was a PS Plus game for free. DC Universe Online was only on consoles at the time on PlayStation. Great. So I mean, count that. Dive Kick, don't know what that game is. Flower, though, was a big indie darling. Killzone Shadowfall, so you get a Killzone at launch, which was an exclusive. Playroom, that was one with the camera where you could do some fun stuff. Not really a big game. Sound Shapes, and then Warframe was a big deal. I remember that launching on PlayStation at the time, so I would say that's something to do for free and check it out, because that was like being online and playing online with your friends and sharing was a big deal. So but let's just put it this way: what are you coming to the party for this? And I would say I don't know if there's any games that were just must have, except for me. I did play Killzone Shadowfall, but I was still waiting for Infamous Second Son, and that got delayed. So for me, lots to do, but nothing to stick around for. So, right? It's just like, Yeah,
there's a reason I waited for the Destiny bundle for this one.
Yes, absolutely. You knew more was coming.
Yeah.
So what do you give it, Mark?
Man, I'm feeling kind of the same. Like I don't know if I can be hard on PlayStation 4 and after just giving Xbox One a 7. Like I'm feeling a 6, maybe, like slightly less stick around power. What are you feeling for this one? Am I being too harsh?
I'm giving it a 6 as well. No, okay, I'm giving it a 6 as well. Killzone was not a killer launch game, but it was serviceable. But if you add everything else, it's like okay, I had things to do, so I didn't feel like I was abandoned. But the games I really wanted were not yet coming. So 6 is where I landed. So let's go to the Wii U.
I want to throw out, if it hasn't been painfully obvious yet to people listening who are screaming at their phones or cars or whatever.
Sure.
I have given zero. You're watching me or listening to me give the thoughts on this one, and this is like gut instinct reading the games or hearing the games read out to me.
Yep.
I've done absolutely no planning for like how I'm
We
going
did
to
no
rank these.
research.
Like
I
I
pulled a
might
website and
come
said,
back.
Mark, I'm going to show you
I
what
might,
this is.
yeah.
I don't even think you knew what we were going to talk about today until I said, this is what we're going to talk about, Mark. It's like, let's go.
I knew. Well, I knew. Yeah, I knew we were talking about like the Switch 2 pre-orders and stuff, but like this part of it wasn't. Yeah, wasn't in the
No.
doc when I read it earlier this morning. Um, So I just want to say, if you're screaming and you have some arguments for this, and you're like, the PlayStation 4 had the best launch lineup ever,
Let
hit
us
us
know.
up in Discord. Let us know. I want to hear these arguments. I want to hear what you remember versus what I remember. And I could, these are just like, I don't know. I'm throwing out numbers. It's, this is whose line is it anyway? The points are made up and nothing matters. Cause we're literally just kind of going off on this. So I'd love to see this discussion continue in our Discord.
Yes.
And jump in, like, let us know what you think the best launch lineup is. Sorry, I disrupted that, but I kind of have. I'm looking at these numbers and I'm just like, someone's gonna yell at us for
just
something
tossing it out here. And when we look back, we're like, oh, that one we gave a 1, maybe it was a bad decision. We don't know. It's set it and forget it, though. We're not looking back. We're now no regrets, Mark. No regrets.
No regrets.
So, Mark, a good point about the last 2 consoles we talked about, Xbox One and PS4, had no backwards compatibility. You were starting from scratch. Those are the only games you get to play. Plus, maybe PSN and Xbox Live. You could play some indie games there. Okay. Oh, wait. On PS4, you also got that one shooter game. I forgot what it was called. It was a first-party game. I can't remember it. Somebody's probably going to yell at me, too. That was also free on PS Plus. So there was a free game. They did give you some free stuff on PS Plus. So, but regardless, if I can't remember the name of the game, obviously didn't play it a lot. So moving on to the Wii U, which was backwards compatible with the Wii. So you didn't feel like you were abandoned if you had your old games. Your Wii Wiimotes work. So for Mark, I'm going to try to figure out or do you want to take this to tell me the games that were only exclusive to the Wii U?
Well, and the Wii U is such an interesting launch. Confirmed launch day, 32 launch titles.
Yes.
That's crazy. Because especially
the Wii, right? Everybody wanted to be on board.
As a Nintendo and as a Nintendo game console, a lot of these were very interesting from a Nintendo standpoint, like stuff like Assassin's Creed 3, Batman Armored City or Arkham City Armored Edition, Call of Duty being on a Nintendo console with Black Ops 2 for the first time, Darksiders 2, Epic Mickey 2 stuff. So it was like this crazy mix of like, holy shit, there's mature titles on a Nintendo console, and there's the stuff that you expect, like Little Inferno is such a cool weird little indie title. Mighty Switch Force Hyperdrive Edition.
The first HD console, right, Mark? And you didn't get like the weird dumbed down version on the Wii. Like Call of Duty on the Wii is like, oh, what is this? So you got like hey, we can play HD games now too, kids.
Yeah, Nano Assault Neo, I remember, is a cool little shooter game. New Super Mario Brothers U, Ninja Gaiden 3, Nintendo Land being a pack-in, Rabbids Land, Scribblenauts Unlimited. Like Scribblenauts was such a cool little series back then. Skylanders Giants, Sonic and All-Star Racing Transform was kind of there to pick up the slack for not launching with a Mario Kart game. Then you had some like weird stuff like
don't forget Tank.
Yeah, of course,
an arcade game from Namco they put on the Wii U.
Yeah, Transformers, Trine 2, Wipeout, Zombie U as a launch title, like launching a Nintendo with a Nintendo console with an exclusive zombie game. Interesting stuff. I thought the Wii U had such a cool launch as a Nintendo fan. A lot of the stuff wasn't exclusive to Nintendo. So as a Nintendo fanboy, I have to hold back some of that excitement with like stuff like Assassin's Creed 3, Batman Armored City, or Arkham City Armored Edition rehashed some old stuff that had already been out. Same thing, Call of Duty Black Ops, but it was like interesting to play those on a Nintendo thing. So if we're looking at real exclusives, though, what do we have here? Mighty
Zombie
Switch
U.
Force, Zombie U, New Super Mario Brothers
Tank,
U,
tank.
and Nintendo Land being a pack-in.
What else? Chasing Aurora. I don't know what that game is. So I think he had like a game like Game Party Champions and ESPN Sports Connection were probably exclusives.
Sonic and All Stars Racing started off as an exclusive on this, and then went to other things.
New Super Mario Brothers U, Nintendo Land, Rabbids Land, and Scribblenauts Unlimited. No, and Scribblenauts Unlimited was on other things. And Sing Party, maybe? Oh, boy.
Yeah. Okay, so this launch is all over the place, but I'm giving it... I think this is another, like, 7. I think this was an interesting launch. I don't think it, like, obviously didn't break the world, but I think it was interesting. I don't think it did any, and I'm trying to, like, again, it's kind of like that thing of like, the console was too expensive. None of these launch titles sold the problem that the Wii U was trying to solve with the, here's the gamepad, here's your TV. This is why it should work. Like Zombie U didn't do that. Nintendo Land didn't do that, even though I talked earlier about like, you can't re-release that game. Nintendo Land probably did the best version of that, and it was a pack-in, and it was an interesting, complete kind of showcase. But like,
you're really trying hard to convince yourself. I can just hear it in your brain right now.
No, I still think this launch may be...
What are you giving it? 7? You're giving a 7. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So Mark, you're at a 7. Me being a realist with having other systems, not coming like I don't have anything else. I'm coming with the Wii. Oh, it's pretty HD. I'm saying this is a GameCube launch. Like, where is the big Mario game? You get New Super Mario Brothers U. Come on. At this point, this is like the 18th version of Mario, the new Mario. We get Nintendo Land, which is kind of like a one-off. No big launches from Nintendo, and a lot of stuff you could probably play somewhere else if you had it. If not, it's like right. Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3 coming to the party? I mean, a Batman game, which was it? No, was it City? I thought it was Origin. Maybe it was. But I played Origin on.
No, Origin came out later. This was Arkham City.
Yeah, okay. So then you're essentially not getting Arkham Asylum, which many people think is better. So I feel like this is the catch-up. Like, hey, we got those games too, but nothing really landed. Yeah. So I'm going to give this one a 4, just because none of those games, if I said, well, I want to play them again, I'm like, no, not really. No.
And I'm probably being like, oh, Nintendo like finally has some stuff. So that's probably giving me, I should probably place this one at a 6, maybe. I think that's, I still think like it had a crazy amount of launch games. But yeah, you're probably right,
Mark. I'm gonna go back to the Switch 2. You gave that a 7. And that's got Mario Kart World.
Right. Yeah, let's drop this down to you know what? I'll drop it down to a 6, because I still think it had I still think
it had a lot of games. And if you're like, I've never seen a Batman Arkham game on my system before, I get it. Yeah.
And having a pack-in game was nice.
Yes. Of course, being $350 maybe was a little tough to swallow at that point. Okay.
That's fair.
Hey, makes whole sense. Okay, now we're getting to the previous gen or last gen, and we're going to talk about is the 360, PS3, and the Wii era of games. So this gets interesting because the 360 launched first. So like, we're going to get into this, and they got into it hard. So this had a lot of exclusive mark. Amp 3 was an exclusive. Condemned, Criminal Origins, exclusive. We got the weird, like, Gun was on PS2 and Xbox One, or OG, and then came over. But then we also got Perfect Dark Zero, Peter Jackson's King Kong, Quake 4, and then a bunch of Tony Hawk's game, and then Project Gotham Racing 3. So this system actually had a lot of big hitters before Forza existed. Project Gotham Racing was a big Xbox franchise. So, I mean, no Halos, of course. Gears didn't get released yet, but Gears was coming. So was Halo. So we knew it was coming. And this is the first HD console, which was like, holy crap. And they were early, they were affordable, and they were ready to go with Xbox Live. And they actually had what was the one game? Geometry Wars. Wasn't Geometry Wars free or something like that?
I was
going to say that's a launch title.
To forget freaking Geometry Wars on Xbox Live Arcade. How
did they not have that on this? That is a killer app right there.
That was it, man. Yeah, that was crazy. So yeah, this
Oblivion I think came out a couple months later, and I mean, wow. Yeah, I mean, I remember when Jay Allard was sitting there on the MTV stage with Tobey Maguire talking about how cool it was. They do list highlights of the Xbox 360 arcade launch lineup, which was a big deal, which was Geometry Wars. But they also had other games that came later, which was Gauntlet. There was Limbo, Trials, Super Meat Boy, Fez. A few others. Was there any others you could think of?
They were later though, right?
The Summer of Arcade
was the killer launch.
I think you got Hexic for free too. Hexic, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm lying. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah,
great launch. Great launch.
Everything looked amazing. Even if it wasn't a good game, it looked amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm feeling like this one's like 7 or 8, probably.
Okay, I get it. I get it. Yeah, I think it's fair.
I'm thinking probably 7, just because there was still like a lot of the Xbox, and I'm trying to think specifically of these launch games, and not like how awesome the 360 was afterwards. But Geometry Wars being there, I'm just
thinking, how many games could you not play elsewhere though? On this is the only way to play these games in HD. And a lot of first party titles. I mean, and they covered a lot of different genres. I mean, I'm pretty stoked with this line. I'm giving it an 8, Mark.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought I was being too generous. So okay.
No,
7,
no.
8. Yeah, you're good. Okay. All right.
No, they came to the party. Okay. So we get to PS3 and then we'll end it up with Wii. This is a tale of two systems. This is a weird era for Sony. Where is the damn list? Oh my God. This is a horrible list. Let me see if I can find another one really quick, Mark. PS3 launch titles, because this is bad. There's no list. Let's see. Here we go. PlayStation Universe. Maybe I can share with you. Hopefully this is better. No, this is a horrible thing too. Crap. This is how you edit on and produce on the fly, kids.
So
Mark, if you find a different
Fall
one.
of Man was the big one, right? That was the big launch
it was,
title. Insomniac.
It was. Yep.
That was the big thing, right? So, and it's much smaller launch lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Than the Xbox 360.
I've got it here. I've got a better. I'll put the link in here.
Got a good one.
So
okay,
I do have a good one. I don't know why what I was smoking. Game Rant, you failed us. So we're gonna go to LifeWire.com. I don't know if this website still exists. Here we go. So Resistance: Fall of Man, Genji: Days of the Blade, which is the crab. Was it the giant crab with historical crabs issue? Let's see. Oh, Oblivion was on PS3. I didn't think it was. I'm wrong. I lied.
It was a launch for PS3. Damn.
It was, yeah. But Mark, other than that, Untold Legends of the Dark Kingdom. That's the only other exclusive. Maybe Ridge Racer 7. Maybe Mobile Suit Gundam. I don't know of any. I mean, a lot of there just weren't a lot of exclusive Sony games yet. Sony did not have a great first party development lineup at this point. I mean, Insomniac was the only one there. Naughty Dog wasn't coming to the party yet with a game. Yeah, that was later with Uncharted. That was far later. No Gran Turismo. I mean, no Siphon Filter. I'm trying to think what else was big on PS2. No God of War was showing up yet. So yeah, you got Resistance: Fall of Man, Genji Days of Blade with this historical giant crab, and I'm guessing Mobile Suit Gundam Crossfire, and Untold Legends Dark Kingdom. So there, Mark, based on those games, what do you think?
Oof.
And it was what, $500, $550, $600? I don't know.
Not the best. This was not a great launch lineup, was it?
No.
I'm feeling this is probably a 5.
Really?
Maybe. I don't know. What are you feeling for this one? See, I wasn't
well, for
like
me,
a PS3 guy. Like that was.
I didn't get one at launch. I'm one of the rare guys. I had to wait till it was cheaper, and I did finally get one from the Air Force when I was in, and I was able to use my Air Force privileges to get one, and I ended up getting it like $100 off. But Resistance: Fall of Man was probably the only game for there. I'm like, oh yeah, I like that. I like that game, but I had to be sold on that game because I wasn't like saying, oh, I want to buy that system for that game. So for me, I would say this is a 4 at best.
All right.
There's good games to play on it with the other like third parties, but not a launch lineup that said pay $600 and get a second job for it. And had a kid.
Yeah, that's I'm trying to divorce myself from like the console was too high.
Yeah.
Like price too high. They did this, they did that. And I'm just trying to look at the games, and I am seeing like Resistance, I am seeing Call of Duty 3, I am seeing Oblivion there. I think I'm gonna stick with my 5, but like it's not great. Ultimate Alliance being there, like
that was a cool game to play on it. I do agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna stick with a 5.
Oh, this is interesting. MotorStorm was an exclusive launch title on the UK version of their launch.
Interesting.
Which is weird because MotorStorm was amazing. Great game, but not in the US or North America. So you know what? That makes me even more pissed off that it wasn't there. It's like, what are you doing? UK. Okay. They won. Right. Oh, well. Yeah. So what are you giving it, Mark? What's your final score?
5.
Go 5. Okay. You're more generous than I was. And then, Mark, we go to the Wii. Last system here. We'll see where we line up, and we'll see where we end with. And what I put here was just, it's all the systems with the, so you have to scroll down and get to the Wii. Okay. Yes. The Wii, I would say exclusives are Excite Truck.
Yep.
Wii Sports. Red Steel, Rayman Raving Rabbids. Yep. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz.
Yep.
Tony Hawk's Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. That was across, with the GameCube. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yep. A Trauma Center Second Opinion, maybe 2.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And some of these may also have been exclusives that I just don't know. Like, was Happy Feet an exclusive? The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? I don't know. Yeah, Cars? Barnyard? I don't know. But you see where we're going with those titles because that was a lot of the Wii U's bread butter. But based on that, and I did not have a Wii U at launch, or Wii at launch, because I was not sold on it. And I had to wait, and it was hard to find. Were you a day one Wii owner, Mark?
If not day one, I was pretty quickly afterwards. Yeah, I owned the Wii pretty early on. And Wii Sports, one of the best pack-in games that demonstrated the system and sold it to a whole different generation and a different group of people. So it's so tough because like right now, it's like Red Steel was supposed to sell motion controls and didn't. I thought Red Steel 2 was excellent though.
I've heard that was the better system. Yep, a better game.
Way better, and had the Wii Motion Plus, and basically Red Steel 2 did what Red Steel wanted to do, and was just held back by like waggle controls versus precise motion controls.
And that's the problem with this launch lineup. Those waggle controls were not great in most of these games.
No, but that was a technology issue rather than a cool. And Excite Truck was really cool. I still think they could do some stuff with that engine, and didn't use waggle controls. You held that sideways like an NES controller, and you could use it to steer. There was
the
some
motion.
stuff that was not held back by shit motion control at all. That game was really cool. I'm feeling like this was probably a 7 or 8, specifically because it had something for everyone. It had Twilight Princess, which was a traditional game. It had Wii Sports, which you could waggle all you wanted. Monkey Ball was fun. Red Steel was trying to do like the first-person shooter. Didn't do the best job of it, but it was cool to see a first-person shooter game launching on a Nintendo console. Excite Truck was excellent. I want to see that series continue. I think this was like, I want to give this an 8 just for Wii Sports. That game was yeah, I'm sticking with 8. That game was like, the Blue Ocean strategy worked for that game. Being a pack-in, Reggie fought so hard and won in North America, and rightfully so. I think the Wii had a very special kind of like launch. Not everything landed, but they took some really big swings, and I respect that.
Literally, really big swings. Red Steel.
Really big swings, yes. With
just use the wrist. Don't use your whole arm.
That's it.
Yeah. This is gonna hurt your heart, Mark. I'm giving it a 3. I played Wii Sports with Sean because he had the Wii, and I'm like, that was fun. Moving on. Did not want to make me want to get a Wii. It wasn't until Galaxy, some other games that showed up that I really wanted to get the Wii. So for me, 3, just the Twilight Princess didn't look better, didn't play better. It just was with different controls. So even though it launched with a even though it launched with a Zelda title, did not make me think, oh, I need to get rid of my GameCube to play it there. So that was the problem. I think with not having the graphical update really took the wind out of sails versus like the Wii U, where the graphical update really sold you on, hey, get this console. It's doing something new. So there we go, Mark. So we are through all of these. And as I look at these, and maybe you look at these too, I would say the top two systems we've got here are either the Switch with you with an 8 and me at a 7. That puts us at basically a 7.5. The Xbox One, 7.2.5. Xbox 360 with like a 7.5.
Yeah.
So those systems, what would you say? Should we agree that the Switch has the best launch lineup ever?
Yeah, sure. I'll agree to that.
Okay. I agree to that too.
Breath of the Wild's one of the best games ever made, and the fact that it was like a launch title and they're still selling it for the Switch 2 and like an updated edition, they're still I think that's a fair assessment.
It was a good pairing of amazing concept of a console that was satisfying what everybody wanted from Nintendo, plus a game that just, wow, how does it work? Yeah. Fantastic. And people forgot that the game actually came out on Wii U as well. That's magic. That's where the magic happens, right? That's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Well, very good. So we landed on Switch 1. Best launch lineup in the, I don't even know what console era. We didn't talk about PS2, OG Xbox, GameCube, those things. So I think we've landed.
Right. Yeah, I think we've done a good job.
Maybe we do a follow-up on the other systems, but we go deep. I want to go deep all the way back to like the Intellivision and see where that lands us. And Mark's like, what is an Intellivision? Yeah. Maybe somebody owned one.
That one would be tough. But
that has been an amazing, this has been a great episode, Mark. This has been a lot of fun. I didn't know where this was going to go, and I'm glad we got to do this. It's late. You're tired. I can tell in your eyes, but you know what? We had a great time. And we'll do this again in 2 weeks. And this will be 2 more weeks closer to Switch 2. So with that, Mark, thank you for being my best video game friend in a whole world. Tell people where they can find you.
You can find me mostly hanging out on Instagram as Canardian_Jedi. Every once in a while, I'll pop in and check out like what's going on like Blue Sky or Threads, but I don't post there a lot. But the best place, like I said, I want to continue this discussion. I want to keep talking about game launches and hear what everyone else thinks. So the best place to do that is over on Discord, and I'm always checking what's going on in there.
I think what we have to do, Mark, is we have to take these scores that I've got in the notes. We just have to like troll people. This is what we gave, like an average. What do you think?
Yeah, when this episode
every system individually.
Yeah.
What do you think? This is what we gave. What do you think? And why are we the worst? Yeah, there we go. I think that works.
Sure. I like it.
I have heard that's how socials work, and that's how you get the love, by getting the hate. So with that, I am Todd Oxtra, and at Secret Friends Unite on the Blue Skies. I am T Oxtra at Secret Friends Unite on the Threads, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger, or whatever, where we're at. Check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite.com. And also, maybe not, I don't know, it's probably the wrong URL. Don't follow that. And also on our Discord, check us out there. That is it for this episode of Co-op Mode. Thank you for going on this journey in the world of video games. Hopefully you got to switch to pre-order. And with that, Mark, I say thank you for being a friend. And remember, folks, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and podcast services around the galaxy, as well as video on our YouTube channel. You can support Secret Friends Unite by becoming a Patreon member, get bonus programs and more over at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Join our Discord community for even more discussions on all things geek. For all the latest updates on Secret Friends Unite, make sure to follow us on Threads at secret.friends.unite and visit secretfriendsunite.com. Find our merchandise at TeePublic and Redbubble. Thanks for listening, and may the Force live long and prosper.